We're playing Minecraft video games. Welcome y'all. I have got some stories to tell you. I'm afraid I can't show you because that would probably be against the guidelines. But yesterday there was a little bit of a misunderstanding between me and the cat. And Julian, welcome. Can you play doubles? Bad welcome. Yesterday there was a little bit of a misunderstanding between me and the cat, and she attacked me very violently, and now my entire right leg is completely scratched and bloody and hurts. It was an entire situation. Linux, welcome. It wasn't great. I would show you the footage, but it's probably against the terms of service to show this because my leg does not look acceptable. Can you log on? Yeah, I can do that after this game. Why so late? Usually I had late shift today, would have streamed before my late shift. The problem was just that the Minecraft authentication servers were down, and thus I could not log into any of my accounts. And thus I just wasn't able to play, obviously. If I can't log into any account, how am I supposed to play, you know? I really tried everything. I spent a lot of time trying to make it work. But I couldn't get it to work. It was just simply the Minecraft service being down, the authentication service. You could also see that in player numbers, because within like 45 minutes, Lunar Client's player count dropped from like 23k to 12k. I already got told that NOS has advanced installs. I don't think it's a huge deal. Like every once in a while he comes back and plays a bunch. But then after all, it always happens that I outgrind him in the long term. I don't think it matters. Okay. Why are you not even trying? Man? You could at least try. I mean, good for me. I wouldn't want you to try, but like, if I have to give you a valuable tip, then that's it. I texted so many people, like, what the hell? I texted 2 entire pages of friends on my friend list on Hypixel, and every single one of them just said nah. None of them wanted to play with me. It was insane. Yeah, I'm gonna pass NOS. It's probably not gonna take long either. We're gonna see. It was just a little unfortunate the past couple of days. I couldn't grind as much as I wanted to because of a bunch of different reasons. Just all very unlucky reasons that I couldn't really influence too much. Did he die? Awesome. Awesome. I was already worried about having to avoid. Okay. Today's late shift wasn't great. I was very exhausted. I mean, nothing necessarily happened, but it was just very exhausting. I couldn't sleep a whole bunch last night because we had to deal with the cat, and it was the whole situation. It was super difficult. And even right now still, there's still... Like, we're friendly now. She doesn't hiss at me anymore, which is good. But, like, she still isn't a great fan of me if I, like, move around too quickly or anything like that, so... That's a little bit of a problem. Nope. Fake bad defense. Oh my god, and I could have seen it. If only I would have looked at the defense. Cat or girlfriend. Diddles, welcome. Like, if any one of you knows something about the terms of service, I could show you the wounds I still have. But as I said, I'm pretty sure on YouTube or on Twitch, I don't know, blood and like gruesome wounds aren't allowed. And let me tell you, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of gruesome wounds on my leg that I am not allowed to show you. I would like to show you, but yeah. I don't think I will get away from this situation that happened yesterday without scars. I'm pretty sure I'll keep some very very nice scars on my leg that are gonna make me look very dangerous. ABCD, welcome. I couldn't play before my late shift. Usually I always would play before my late shift. Today I couldn't do that because the Minecraft authentication servers were down, so I couldn't get into any Minecraft account. Very sorry. Okay, why is everyone disconnecting? In theory I have to go for blue first because blue disconnected first, but I'm pretty sure I can get both without any problem. If anything, it's gonna not work because of blocks. Because I only have like 3 blocks. But so far I'm hopeful. And it should be 2 minutes, so I should have more than enough time. I'm already at like 4 ticket targets out of 20 I need for the 1% XP boost that's coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. Alright, this was probably well Hey! Gray, you are a goofhead. I hate Gray. Gray team's not my homie. And now I'm stuck here. Oh lol. This is super sad. If only I would have known. I was already thinking to myself, where the heck is this Gray guy? Where could he be? Little did I know he was going to ruin my life. Is it worth anything if I purchase an... What? If I purchase an egg? Okay, I'm pretty sure Gray is going to go for my bed. So I don't think I'm gonna go for his bed. I think I'm gonna go for Emeralds first. Wait, how do I have 17 blocks again already? What? Where are all these blocks going towards? Okay, he just isn't very smart, it looks like. That's very good. Unless he is very smart, because I would also think it's a good strat to not go for the enemy bed, but instead go for emeralds. But I don't know, who asks me? I'm not a soul. Did you see the frickin'... He's a final. Thank you, man. You saved the day. Did you see the Purpled video? I saw Purpled uploaded a video. And usually my problem is a hard word, but like usually I don't really enjoy those videos too much. Oh yeah, okay, that is untrue as well, but like usually you can say I couldn't clutch that well. Usually I don't really think the gameplay from the OG BedWars YouTubers looks too good. But his gameplay looked so fire. Like even compared to, okay, Duya is like still dimensions ahead, but even compared to Duya, his gameplay was looking super clean. I really enjoyed it. I hope he's gonna do that more. Okay, nice, now we can get the pet quest. And he also said he's probably gonna be going for that more often now. That's pretty cool. He's very good at being funny and say, I don't know. I just paid attention to the gameplay's commentary. I didn't really care about too much. Okay, I tried everything. I tried lobby 1, I tried all my friend list, nothing worked so far. I could have probably had one person from lobby 1, but they were tagged as a blatant cheater, so didn't really want to go for that, I have to admit. Okay. The late night stream is because all throughout before my late shift, I couldn't log on because the Minecraft session authentication servers were down, so I couldn't verify that I was actually owning Minecraft, so I couldn't log on to any server. And that wasn't fixed up until I already had to leave for my late shift, so I had to do it now that I'm back from the late shift. It's super sad. How much money for me to log on. Good luck, Tiddles. I mean, viewer-wise, it's good. Because whenever I have late shift, my streams perform poorly because I don't really have viewers online at the time I have to stream at then. So streaming late is obviously very good for Twitch performance. But it's not good for me being tired. I'm also not gonna get a whole bunch of hours of sleep tonight. Like, that's also not gonna happen, probably. because obviously I will stream for another 1 hour 20 minutes, so that's gonna be 20 minutes past midnight, or like, I don't know if past means what I want to say. I was always bad with times in English, but like 20 minutes after midnight, to say it in less fancy words. Past is probably before, because past means the past. Stupid system. Americans, what can you say? And those who later became Americans. However, then I still have to get up at 8 if I want to have my usual time tomorrow, so it doesn't drag on from day to day. But I also still have to eat dinner. I could have eaten it while streaming, but I hate doing that. I hate eating while playing. It's not my type of thing. I really hate it. Well, wait, I just realized this is... I just realized this is doubles. I just realized this is not doubles, in fact. I got a TNT and an endstone defense and all the good stuff. Frig. What am I gonna do? 15 past minute. Oh, okay, so it does mean what I wanted it to mean after all. Not gonna lie, I'm on some real hack. If you wanna do YouTube full-time BedWars. Mr. Orange. You probably don't mean this in any way to educate me, expecting me to be all Pikachu face now. But like, this is not new information to me. This is, maybe would have been new information to me like 5 years ago. But thanks for keeping it real. 2 midnight. Ah, that was the other word. I see. Okay, yellow's just stealing our hard-earned diamonds. Here's another fireball. Wasn't walking forward, so that didn't work. Oh, he did decide to go there after all. I saw him go there and I was like, oh, okay, he seems to be going elsewhere. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go for this guy anyway. Sad. I thought I was able to fireball jump out of there. Okay. If you wanna... because I would definitely be a better streamer if I was more like you, because that skill at the video game... You seen who's back? StarTech. Xana, welcome. StarTech rings a bell. Is that a BedWars YouTuber? I don't know. Very political? Am I not very political already? Do I not say stuff like, I don't know, tax the rich, or I can't say that else I'll be investigated by the police? I say that very often. I've even heard people say Donald Trump should be executed. I personally wouldn't say that, just as I wouldn't say that my former teacher should be executed, who got me kicked from my old job. Actually, nowadays, I probably actually wouldn't say that, because she really helped me with that. Now I earn so much more money and I'm so much happier, but like, the solo guy, okay, apparently it's actually a BedWars YouTuber. Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be still execute, yeah, I know, but at least she helped me. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm very political. Can I have some money? Same question here. We're still 2 subscriptions away from 10, so that's pretty good. I mean, it's not like if you stream CSGO or something, you won't be able to do that full time. Maybe I'm too tired to understand that sentence, but I don't think the game is the issue here. I don't think the game is the issue. I have to be real with you. Maybe with a more popular game, I'd have maybe a better chance at a bigger audience. I don't even know if that's the case, because that would also get me some, like, a lot more competition. So I don't even know if that would be holding true. But like, I think der Dreh- und Angelpunkt, as we in German say, die Krux, da wo der Hase im Pfeffer liegt, aka, what's the English term for this? What could be an English phrase? I think the problem, the issue, that it all revolves around is me just not being a very good streamer. I don't think it's the game. I hate to break it to y'all. I know you think I'm the best streamer, but I don't actually think it's a game. I really believe it's more of a personal issue. I think my bet is gone. I'm unsure. No, okay, I can save it, it looks like. Especially since he would have to purchase Ape. Unless he just kills me still, even though we have same gear. And he's like, no equipment. Okay. I've never gotten false rushed on snails. I can tell you that. This is a new thing. Oh, he's got a block behind himself. That's so sad. I don't even know if I would have done numbers back in 2021. I don't even believe so. Like, do you remember what I did in 2021? If not, I'm gonna help you real quick. I already played the game, and I also already streamed it and uploaded it and everything, you know? That kind of did happen. So I don't think it's a game, though. In fact, I've been doing this since like 2018, actually, you know? And never really worked out, no matter the state of the game. So no, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a game. Like, over the years, I've also tried other things. You could argue that I didn't do it for long enough. If I would have done it long enough, then maybe it would have worked, sure. But like, I also reacted to videos for a little. I also played Nintendo games on stream for a little. Yeah, sure, maybe if I would have done that for a little bit longer, then maybe it could have worked. But that also didn't really work. I don't think it's what I'm doing, but instead it's how I'm doing it and the type of person I am. And I think I'm just not the entertaining type person, the streamer type person that entertains the masses, you know? That just isn't really me, I would say. Okay, let's stop ignoring my girlfriend. How may I help you? Fortnite? Yeah, I also don't think Fortnite is gonna fix it. Now I'm very nervous because a cat is in the room with me here now, and I think she's under the table. And after the experiences I told you towards the start of the stream, that left me a war veteran pretty much. I'm a little nervous now. White has the new cape. Oh, true. We have to check out Zaz's cape. Could someone remind me to check out his cape after this game? Could someone remind me? Okay, thank you. Was denn? Was? Das ist doch gut. Gut, danke. Danke, sehr lieb von dir. Warum bist du jetzt böse? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's not gonna cut it. It's bad. The game is sadly not over yet, but thank you for trying. As long as you're having fun. Yeah, I'm having fun. I would definitely have more fun if I, you know, would also have some financial gain and wouldn't have to work my job anymore, you know? Even though I like my job. But I mean, I still have fun, obviously. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. It's not like I'm doing this expecting it to blow up at some point. You could say I'm doing it for the fun. Okay. Understand what your current knowledge and skills and connections you would be... Nah, Orange. Especially the connection thing. You always overestimate so much. It's like... The thing is, I'm not gonna act as if there's no way for me to... Come on, give me more than particles. I'm not gonna act as if there's no way for me to ever be able to get big on social media. Let's be real here. If you want to, you can do it. Like, you can totally dedicate your life to it. You can do the research necessary and then just do all the fancy stuff, and then you could probably do this. Not gonna lie, if I would really try to get into this with infinite motivation and spend my next like year or two trying to figure this out and doing everything I can with all the knowledge I've collected over the time and all the knowledge that I still have to collect, then I would also say I could do YouTube full-time. I think... Oh, I don't have a Pearl, and even if I would have had one, I wasn't even on my Pearl hotkey. I think I could have done it, sure. However, I don't want to do that. The thought of being able to do this full time is not tempting enough for me to say, yeah, I'm gonna do all of that. It's, I don't know, it's stressful. And my need for doing this doesn't exceed the stress. Okay, here goes SVGC Cape. Ooh, doesn't it look good? Also, we're not account sharing. Like, for real, I don't account share. What other people do, that's a different story, but I personally don't account share. I've never played a single game of BedWars on an account that wasn't mine. I can tell you that. Okay. Maybe now he wants to play with me? I don't like it still, I have to admit, Zaz. Cool that you seem to like it, but I personally don't like it. Okay, let's see what else she said. If you're determined and delusional enough, you'll make it at some point. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't have this determination. Like, my need to become a big internet persona and live off of it isn't big enough for me to dedicate my life to figuring this out, you know? That is what's standing in between me and this. And maybe I would also just not be smart enough. Maybe even if I dedicated my all to it, maybe I just wasn't smart enough. I think I could probably do it, but I don't know. I don't want to overestimate myself here. Don't want to give me too much credit here. Streaming isn't about the money, it's about the love of art. Nah, it's about the money. Yeah, my pronunciation is different. In the end, 6-7. Why do I still do this? External lock-in. Overestimation is not a bad thing though. It's one thing to think big, it's another to use that to do it, and I'm currently in the process of that. I believe that. Please remember me when you are big, Mr. Orange. Please. I think I see the dedication in you that I am missing inside of myself. Maybe people do that and it's not working in 99% of the cases. I would agree to you, but I think in the case of YouTube, it's a different story. In the case of YouTube, from everything I've seen so far, while not even trying to really get into it, I've already gathered enough information to get a little bit of an understanding that maybe on YouTube it's not luck. Maybe on YouTube you can make it work without luck, you know? But this might be Dunning-Kruger. Zaz Cape, I did that. Casual Warfare, welcome, and he said, as someone who has worked in politics, that is not really true. If you have enough time, marketing skills, and extreme narcissism, you'll be able to manipulate your way into the other. Yeah, I'm unsure if that is what it takes, but like, I also don't believe it's luck. You can do it without luck. Stop account sharing, alright, will do. A lot of it is smart networking, platform hopping, etc. I don't know. I don't know anything about politics and how that works, so who knows? I don't. I agree that it isn't luck, but I think it's less deep than that because users have shown that correct all. Yeah. Yeah. One thing is figuring out a niche that's working and then just make good videos, which you can also just dedicate your life to figuring out how that works. Like, there's enough examples online. You're gonna figure it out. And the other thing is, look at Specular Potato. Specular Potato is freaking rich, apparently. He apparently is a millionaire. Have you seen his car? Just because he's been doing what I also considered doing at some point. He just looked for what works. How can you farm money? How can you brainlessly farm money? And now he has like 50 channels. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. He has so many channels. What the hell? And there are many other strategies that also include dropshipping and scamming people. There's a lot of ways to make YouTube, there's a lot of ways to make money on this platform. It's pretty easy. Or, I don't know, could be easy. it would be stupid to just say it's easy without with the amount of knowledge I have, you know. I've got new glasses that are tighter than my last ones, and immediately when I put on my headphones, get penetrated into my head. That's not good. Maybe I wouldn't have left the glasses store under these ja. Oh Gott im Himmel. Was denn? Ja, tut mir leid. Ich habe ganz schön böse mit dir geredet. Warum? Weiß ich nicht mehr. War abgelenkt. So möchte ich nicht mit dir reden. Das tut mir leid. Was? Das siehst du dann nach dem Stream, wie ich mich richtig entschuldige. Anyway. Invest into crypto. Don't invest into crypto. Do you want your full-time job to be content creating to the point where you can quit your actual job? No. I mean, yeah. If I could press a button and it would work, then yeah. But since that isn't working, since you actually have to invest some more work beyond just pressing a button, as I said, I want that to be happening. I want my job to be content creation so I can quit my old job, but I don't want it enough so I'm ready to dedicate my life to it to the extent that I would need to do it, you know? And at that point I just have to accept, okay, I guess it won't happen then. And that's fair. If you are not ready to spend the amount of effort needed, then don't expect results. It's pretty straightforward. Can I do this real quick? Okay. Scamming the elders. Oh, beef for cloud? I'm here for beef for cloud. I'm here for it. Let's see what's going on. Platform is basically what people have an audience for, make the audience too bad for their feelings. Blah 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 blah. Now that turned out to be pretty boring after all. And I also don't think it's disgusting, I have to admit. I don't think it's disgusting. I'm also a huge fan of all this drama content on YouTube. Like, I think it's... I personally don't consider it disgusting. But I think it's quite entertaining. Pretty much modern day trash TV. My girlfriend is gone now, Tiddles, I'm very sorry. I was kind of worried you can still keep your job in the mean. Yeah, I know, Orange. That used to be my plan. My plan used to be I'll do social media as a part-time thing while still doing my actual job full-time, because that would just be way too risky. But at some point I realized that I just don't have the willpower. I don't have the will inside of me. Like, my need to go for this isn't big enough to justify putting that much effort into it for me personally, you know? Maybe if I wouldn't like my job, for example. If I'd be like, oh no, my job I don't like it, it's, I don't know, it's so sad and I can't support my family with it or whatnot, then maybe that would be a big enough motivation. The problem is just, my job is pretty decent. I don't mind it. It's okay. Obviously it's not as good as content creation, but like, it's a pretty decent job. And I earn very well. Like, I would say for my age group, I definitely earn above average. But even for people older than me, I still earn slightly above average. And I still have a lot of potential to earn even more. Which is just gonna happen because that's in my contract already. And yeah, I don't really see the need, you know. And my passion for content creation just isn't big enough to justify me investing that level of work into it. So there's just nothing driving me towards doing this. In politics it's disgusting? Oh, sad for the politics people. if you ask that, like if you ask me what my favorite YouTube channel is, that's kind of hard to answer. I'm unsure. Currently, probably Jay Riddle. I already really liked him before his recent advances, but especially with the recent stuff he's been doing, he's just a goat. Oh, you goofhead. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Got many different channels that I enjoy. The main channel video depends. I thought I had the entire week to myself, but it turned out that my girlfriend has a bunch of days off and a bunch of other things that make it so instead of Monday to Friday, me having a bunch of time, instead I just have Thursday and Friday. So that's, instead of 5 days, it's just 2. I'm hoping to be able to finish the main channel video, but I'm unsure. I mean, after all, I still have the weekend, so I don't know. It's gonna be difficult. I'm hoping to make it work this week, you know? Okay. Yeah, 20k. Pretty cool. We reached 20k. Is there anything big in your life that you would actually like to pursue and put work into? Good question. I used to have many aspirations, but why did I gain 2 stars? What happened there? But cool. I'll take it. I used to have many different aspirations, but nowadays, I don't know. I would like to become a better version of myself. I would like to educate myself in a way to just understand the world around me better. I would like to overcome my mental problems. Looking forward to starting a family at some point. I don't know. Happy relationship. It's already pretty happy, but even happier. But aside from that, don't have any crazy aspirations. I would like to have enough money to sustain my quality of life, to live comfortably, and maybe at some point be able to afford my own home. But like, I don't know. It would be cool to do content creation full time. But the problem is that I have tried many different things behind the scenes, and I realized that it doesn't 1, 2, 3. I realized that it doesn't appear to be what I really want to do, apparently, because I've tried to do very high effort, well edited videos for my old German channel in a couple different niches. And while working on them, I realized that it just wasn't really fun. I don't know. The thought of the finished product was cool, but every step of the way there, from the research to the editing to educating myself on how to edit in the first place and everything, just wasn't fun, and I just really didn't enjoy it. And then I thought to myself, I mean, it's cool if I have a cool product in mind, and if I've got all the ideas to make a cool product, and if I would like the thought of having this cool product, and if the product would have a crazy likelihood to probably perform super well and allow me to do this full time. But if creating the product is so hard and difficult and such a long process, and the process I have to invest so much of myself into, and this entire process I just don't like, then what's the difference between this and working a job you really don't like? Like, in the end, what I do there has to be something I enjoy doing, you know? And if I just don't enjoy anything about the process but the outcome of it, especially for videos that take this much effort, talking like hundreds of hours per video, and like investing a lot of brain power, investing so much into it, then I don't think it's worth it. And I decided that I shouldn't go for it, you know? Then I also worked on my book. This is very sad. It would have been very important to kill this guy. I also worked on my book and the video game associated to my book. And that also made me realize that I have the vision and I have all the ideas in my head. And I know if I just keep writing this book, then something very, very good is going to be the outcome of it. But I don't know, if I don't feel good about doing it, then what if I just don't do it, you know? Maybe in 10 years from now I could have a finished book, but for the next 10 years I'd have to do something I really don't enjoy doing, so maybe I shouldn't do it. Unless every once in a while when I feel like doing it, then yeah, okay, sure. If I've got a little bit of a phase where I enjoy doing it, then sure, let's go for this, but that just doesn't really happen ever. Yeah, and that was just the same for most things I used to enjoy doing. It's neither. I'm not lazy, and I also don't lack inspiration. Like, the entire story for the book is laid out in my head. Whenever I feel like working on it, I just keep writing and writing and writing and writing without stopping, and yeah, I produce pages upon pages. But it's just not fun to me anymore. It used to be fun to me, I used to enjoy this, but nowadays I just don't really enjoy it anymore. I don't enjoy the process. And so I've started focusing on just the things I enjoy. And what I enjoy is playing BedWars. What I enjoy is producing highlight videos. What I enjoy is, for the most part, still producing update videos about BedWars, for example. So I'm working on the main channel video for that. But like, aside from that, pretty much all my projects that I had going don't really bring me any enjoyment anymore. Like, for example, working out. Tuesday updates must have been deadly? What do you mean Tuesday updates? For example, about working out, I can tell you, it used to be for like many years, most of my life. This is the same for everything, all of my hobbies and all of my projects I used to pursue. But like also, this also applies to working out. For so many years, I used to be super motivated for working out every single day. Every single day. And nowadays, there are days where I'm not motivated. I would say it's, I don't know, most days I'm still motivated to work out, but there are a bunch of days, it happens regularly, that I'm just not motivated to work out. But I think there, what comes into play is discipline. Because discipline starts where motivation ends. So for working out, this makes sense. Because I can feel that in the long run, looking at the big picture, working out is still something I want to do. And then there's also the aesthetics that I want to go for, and then there's also the health benefits. So naturally, I use discipline to just power through the days where I don't feel motivated to do this. And I could also use discipline to power through not wanting to write this book. I could also use discipline to power through not wanting to edit those videos. But that's a different story. It would be the same story if, for example, let's take the example of my book. It's a good example. If out of 10 days, like 3 to 4 days even, I would want to write this book. And in the long run, I would also know, okay, most of the time I enjoy the thought of writing this book. And I also want to see the result and everything like that. Then I would say, I'll use my discipline and just power through and just write this book. But for the book, it's a different story. For the book, I literally, in the past 6 or 7 years, oh my god, I hate this. Please, everybody, just shut up. But sadly, it is the actual numbers. For the past like 6 or 7 years, I've had a total of 20 days maybe. It's probably 20 days where I felt like writing this book. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I think in the big picture, in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like I want to write this book. You know? So that's a difference. For example, the update videos. There, it's the same thing. The BedWars update video, I also don't feel motivated for all the time, but those I still feel like I really want to do, and I still have a bunch of days where I feel like, yeah, I want to do this. This is something I want to do. So I use my discipline to power through the days where I don't want to work on the update videos. Oh my god, they butched up, so I couldn't jump over that. So there it makes sense. Actually, I have the same issue. I started Project with vision and close my students. I realized that the path to that takes too long or is too exhausting and stuff does not work out. It used to be different for me. I used to just find enjoyment in every single one of my passion projects every single day, and I wouldn't even need discipline. I was just motivated every single day. But like, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, it just disappeared randomly. And I don't think I would have any problem. Someone wrote, Casual Warfare said, discipline is a creativity killer. I don't think I have at least when it comes to the book, I don't think I have a problem with that, because like the book is already written in my head. I don't need to be creative anymore to write this book, because it's all there. I think about the book, and it's all naturally there. It just flows out of my fingers once I start typing. So I don't think that would be a problem, but I just feel like this is not something I want to do in my life, so I just don't do it. It's fine. You don't have to do everything. Oh, they are so stacked. Was? Mein Buch schreiben.
Hä?
Ja. Ab und an habe ich mal kleine, also ich will es nicht genug machen, um mit Disziplin durchzuziehen. Ab und an habe ich natürlich diese kleinen Phasen, wo ich so denke, boah, jetzt habe ich mal Bock, dann schreibe ich auch. Aber das reicht halt nicht, dass ich sage, okay, jeden Tag nehme ich mir jetzt 15 Minuten diszipliniert und schreibe da halt weiter. Das war jetzt eher das Ding. Wenn du verstehst, was ich meine. Ja gut, umsonst war es jetzt nicht, oder? Das hat dir ja trotzdem Spaß gemacht, nicht? Es hat dir keinen Spaß gemacht. Ja, na toll. Oh my god, he has a freaking bow. He's got a pearl. Ah, nice, he couldn't use it properly. That's good. Okay, what else do we have? We still need the potion quest. And the Ender Dust quest. Especially the potion quest. Okay. I think a lot of talk around discipline stems from unwillingness to consider if you still really... Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the thing I wanted to capture in what I was saying. Like, if you find out for yourself, and this is not easy to find out, and this is not like set in stone. It's not like you can check 4 boxes and you know what's going on, and then you're like, ah, now I can make this educated guess. For me, I also frequently reevaluate this, and sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I actually think I'm gonna be working on this or that more. But in the end, it's like always a thing you have to evaluate and always have to ask yourself, okay, at which point does it still make sense to power through with discipline, and at which point doesn't make sense anymore, you know? I think if I 99% of the time wouldn't want to work out anymore, I still think I would do it with my discipline I have, just because I think the health benefits and the aesthetical benefits way outweigh anything else, and I still would want to go for that. But like things like all the creative passion projects don't really have any health benefits, you know? So that's a different thing. Huh? Was? 3/4 Stunde. Wir haben schon die Hälfte. Fried, replied, relied, applied, we flight, T, white, take flight. I lost the message, frick. Twitch user said 6-7. Was to be expected. If I need to power through a task, I see it as a potential red flag that it's stupid. Within a certain spectrum. Wir reden gerade über, wie man für sich identifizieren kann, welche Aufgaben man mit Disziplin noch bewältigen sollte, bei welchen man eher für sich feststellen sollte, okay, vielleicht ist das was ich lieber nicht machen will. Das ist so das Thema grob aktuell. To be fair, I feel like I have nothing I want to do in my life. That is very sad. Casual waffle. That is sad to hear. But fair point. And I don't think you're alone with that. I think that's quite common. Oh wow, how can you just jump over that like this? Wow. That combo was crazy. How did I do that? Oops. Yeah, he's just... toss his sword. Hey, he's just way more stacked now. Oh, you DM'd me on Discord? I thought it was Tiddles. I thought it was 70. Do you share a profile picture? Oh no, 70 doesn't even have the all-black profile picture anymore. Since when do you have an all-black profile picture? Since you got banned to show your sadness? Does he have a fireball that he can use to pass me in a way that really hurts me in my bed? Okay, my friend. Okay. He said he broke.
I like it.
Thank you for the follow. I really like follows. Who followed? Missex53 and so on. Like, I've tried to follow my personal interests in so many different ways, especially in the past months, ever since I lost my ongoing motivation for all my passion projects. And there are many things where the sheer amount of effort I'd have to invest into it just outweighs my willingness to go through in order to achieve what I want to achieve. Like, for example, I've mentioned this a couple of times, I'm also super interested in many topics all around society and discourse and whatnot. I never really know what to call this. But there are certain topics that I'm super interested in especially the German landscape, and I really could see myself having a YouTube channel
I'm gonna
Where-
cut off my balls.
Thank you, Ben. Where I give my opinion on these topics. I could really see that. But the problem is my perfectionism makes it so part of the fantasy about saying something also involves doing proper research and not only blurting out the first thing that comes into my mind, but actually thinking about the bigger picture and investing much more effort and thought into it. And I think the amount of effort I'd have to invest into a channel like this and into the concept of videos in order for me to be comfortable with what I would be outputting, because I want it to have a value after all, and I don't see the value until a certain point of research and mental effort invested into it. I forgot how I started the sentence, so I can't end it in a fancy way, but basically all I'm trying to say here is that the amount of research I'd have to do is too much work for me to still want to do this. That's all I'm saying here. Okay, minor fatigue and out. Okay. Okay, the problem is, Oranged, there's a little bit of a problem here. The problem is that, I don't know if, maybe I'm misinterpreting the situation here, but like, I feel like your assumption is that I want to do all of these things so badly, but I am not willing to invest the effort that I would need to invest into it. But that's just not the case. Like, what is the actual situation here is I have a bunch of things that I'm interested in, and I could see myself doing a bunch of different things. I have many different creative ideas that I could see myself pursuing. However, I don't necessarily want to go through the amount of effort I'd have to go through in order to make that come reality, but it's not a problem for me. Like, it's not a big deal. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. Like, that's a fine difference here, I feel like. Like, the situation is not, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, there are all of these different things that I would so love to do, but I just can't do it. For example, I don't know, I would just love to be better at BedWars, and I have all the knowledge, but I just don't want to invest the effort into actually doing it. But it's like, no, it's fine. It would be cool if I would do this, but with the amount of effort needed to invest into this, I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm happy with the level I'm at right now, you know? It's okay. It would be cool if I was better, but I don't see myself investing that amount of effort. There are probably, I don't know if this is a good example, but there are probably also a bunch of people who are like, yo, I would love to have a BedWars account with 4,000 stars. Nobody ever. But like, there's probably also a bunch of people who are like, well, I would love to have a BedWars account with 4,000 stars. But playing that much to get all of these stars, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal after all. And then it's just fine. Whatever. It's fine. There are things on the other hand where I'm like, yeah, it's worth it for me to dedicate my life to this extent to this thing. For example, this whole streaming and highlight channel thing. I devote most of my free time I have to streaming and highlight channel. That is quite a bunch of effort I'm investing into this, but if streaming and the highlight channel wasn't that big of a deal to me, then I'd also be like, yeah, okay, whatever, I can spend my time else, like, differently. Like, what I've realized over the past couple of months is, it's fine to not like things enough to dedicate that much of your life to it, because your lifetime is valuable. And if you just force yourself to do something because the idea of doing this is pretty cool, but then your quality of life just degrades so much that it's just not enjoyable anymore, then how about you just don't do it? It's fine. apparently you don't want it enough if you're not willing to invest this amount of effort. And I don't want it enough. That's actually true. Yellow is the problem here. I just don't want it enough. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. And that's why I'm saying, if I had, I don't know, if my job conditions would be worse, I wouldn't earn enough money, and I hate all my colleagues, and all of those things. And on top of that, I also would have such a deep passion for, I don't know, this whole online thing. And if those two things were true, then obviously I'd be willing to invest the effort necessary, obviously. But it's just not that big of a deal. Why would someone who isn't actually all too interested in doing it invest this effort? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Instead, the person is going to invest their energy and resources into something they enjoy more. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. The point you are making, however, Orange, applies to people who are like, I don't know, if my job was terrible and it would be my absolute biggest passion ever to do social media, and all day every day I wouldn't think about anything else, and regularly you see me whining about how much I would love to do this is my only thing in life, but then I wouldn't want to actually work for it, then maybe I would see what you were saying. I don't know, that would be a different discussion then, but like, that's just not the case, you know? I would love to have those stars, and I would put in the effort if I didn't get brutal. What the hell? Yeah, molested, I agree. That's a crazy word to use under these circumstances. However, I would make the argument, obviously I can't feel what you feel, I can't look into your head, but I would make the argument, maybe then you don't want it that much. Because, like, if you really, really wanted this, and if this was really a passion of yours, and you really wanted to have all these stars, and that would be like a big goal for you in life that you really want to achieve, then I don't think losing a couple games to some cheaters would be that big of a deal, right? I mean, for my mindset, maybe cheaters annoy you personally so much that just to avoid having to feel playing against cheaters, you just don't go for your biggest life goals. I mean, that's possible, obviously. I don't want to say anything against how you feel about the world. But for how I feel about the world, that would be a hint for me personally that I just don't want it that much, you know? Would be cool to have that, but okay. It's not that big of a deal, you know? I play 8 hours a day. I am jealous of you, Xeno. I would also like to play 8 hours a day. I would also like that. However, I think what also plays into this, now we're gonna see if Gray is actually cheating. Okay, nah. Neither Gray nor Yellow were probably cheating. I'm gonna make another important argument here that I would like us to also talk about, and that is, oh, now I forgot about it. Wait, that's actually important. Like, this is an argument we have to. My arm got stuck on the chair. What did you say? I would invest the effort if I do this. Wow, some very important thing I wanted to say. This is very bad that I can't remember it right now. I'm not gonna read any messages until I remember this again. Oh yeah, oh good. Another thing, however, that you have to take into consideration, obviously your frame of mind shifts, and there are different parameters that go into determining this. That was the latest hit I've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure I couldn't have gotten a third hit there. I don't know, I should have gone for it. However, what determines if you go for something is the balance between a bunch of different parameters. And some parameters, not all of them, maybe there are some that I don't have in mind right now, but some parameters that go into there are also like your state of mind, how much discipline your brain can take, a lot of different things. And what has a very, very big impact on a lot of things that also have a big impact on if you go for something or not is your dopamine regulation in your brain. And for me personally, I can just tell you from my standpoint, and I think this is an experience that most people our age sadly make. My dopamine household is very poorly regulated. I'm working on it, and some days it's better, some days it's worse. But all in all, currently my dopamine isn't very well regulated. That makes it so tasks are harder for me. I have tried it in the past. I got my dopamine household regulated quite well. And all of a sudden, even very hard tasks felt much easier for me. So maybe, and a lot of the creative projects I don't actually go into because mentally it is too much for me. However, my mental load decreases heavily with my dopamine household being in order. So if I had my dopamine household completely in order, then obviously, since this is a parameter that goes into this, or this influences parameters that go into this, my willingness to invest my time into certain projects might also adapt. You know, this is also something that goes into this. You should probably keep this in mind too when talking about this whole thing. Now that I've mentioned this, we can take a look at the other messages. I don't want it, but the circumstance of BedWars just made me not want it. Like if BedWars was more normal and if there were more than 20 people. Yeah, okay, but I feel like you are missing out on that this is not a BedWars exclusive thing, but instead this translates to everything else as well. I think you are missing out on that. Because if you think about it, you can make the same argument for everything else as well. For example, if someone wanted to make a career as a rapper, for example, then they could also very well say, well, let's take a look at your message. What did you say? Oh yeah, I don't want it, but the circumstances of rapping just make me not want it. Like, if rapping was more easy, if flowing would be more natural to me, and if writing texts would be more easy for me, if I would just know more words, then obviously I would want it. So it's just the circumstances of the rapping that makes me not want to go for being a rapper, you know? You see how that is just a... I don't want to say it's a general rule, but like... This is the same principle. It's not a BedWars exclusive thing. It applies to all of these things. Okay. I don't know why I went for 2 builds. Oh no, this bridge doesn't exist. And the same thing can be said about everything. Can be said about my book. Oh yeah, I would want to... no, I don't know your message anymore. I don't need to quote it exactly. I think you get the point. For the book, you could also say, yeah, but I don't know. I just don't like dedicating my time sitting down and I don't know what... And I'm pretty sure, especially when it comes to my book, the whole dopamine thing probably has a super big influence, because what keeps me from doing it is that it's just not stimulating enough. Sitting down and letting the ideas flow out of my brain to my hands so I can write them down, it's not a super stimulating thing, especially since I don't really have to think about it. Maybe if I'd actually have to be creative actively, and if I actually had to think about it, maybe it would be even more stimulating. But writing this book is the least stimulating thing I can think of, because I don't even have to come up with anything, because it's already in my head, you know? So maybe with a more well-regulated dopamine household, I'd have more motivation to go for my book, who knows? Doesn't sound super unlikely, you know? Okay. I mean, Orange, that's what I was talking about, enjoying the process instead of just the result and all. SassVGC is probably smart enough to understand what I'm talking about, so I don't have to not cherry pick, I don't have to examine the exact wording. Never bought into it because you never tried it. And maybe because you don't understand the biology behind it. I've actually invested some effort into finding out how exactly this whole thing worked, because I was always like, This is surely just something motivational coaches try to sell to you, or I don't know, something like that. I never really bought into it as well. But then I was like, but what if it works? Like, it shouldn't hurt just trying it. And then I did it for 2 to 3 weeks, and I was like, my life feels incredibly much different now. And then I stopped doing it, and my life got incredibly much worse again. And then I looked into the biology side of things, and I was like, wait, this is literally just biology. It makes sense that I feel the way I feel. This is not bullshit. This works. It's that easy. The circumstances don't allow that. I understand. I obviously misread trying to get across. I get it now, but still, you haven't run out of things to make massive money off of. It's up to you to discover that. And yeah, I mean, I frequently brainstorm creative things I want to do, and maybe at some point I'll get into something that I want to do enough, and that also brings the big bucks. Could be. Okay. Kann ich das in Ruhe danach lesen? Ich habe gerade nicht die Zeit. Aber ich finde es cool. Sehr cool, oder so. Ganz wie du willst. I feel like it generally is about making your life more miserable, so you like miserable stuff more comparatively. I understand that and why you would think that, but biologically speaking, it doesn't work like that. I don't know, maybe I will try to explain it off of the little memory I still have from how it works from when I looked into this. Working so well, you lost interest in everything you used to like. Nah, I actually tried this dopamine thing after it already happened, that I lost interest in everything I liked. That is not a causation, not even a correlation, because it's not even in the same time frame, in the same time, whatever, time frame. I can do anything, okay, it doesn't matter. Motivation stuff is very complex. It's not entirely dependent on a single hormone. I agree to that, yes, I agree. But a big part of it is this hormone, because it's literally the hormone that makes you even feel motivation. It is the hormone that even leads to you wanting to do this. To do anything, to be fair. I don't know if this was related to dopamine or if I'm mixing up things, but like, for example, there have been clinical studies with mice, and the mice have been completely made unable to feel the reward from their dopamine system. And even though their entire cage was filled with food, they just stopped eating it, even as they were about to starve. If you would put sugar onto their lips, they would lick it, and you could still very well see, okay, these mice still want the sugar, they still want to eat, but they have zero driving for still going for it. Their drive to get up, walk to the food, and get it into their mouth was zero, because everything that could motivate them to do so just didn't exist anymore. As I said, I'm unsure if this was just purely about dopamine. I could be mixing up things here. I understand what you are trying to say now, Zaz, and obviously, as you are saying it this way, I totally agree to you. I think in general, when it comes to science, especially when it comes to medicine, biology, but also when it comes to psychology, which this also plays into, you should never tunnel vision. Never. It always is a bad idea. You should always keep in the back of your head that multifactorial causes exist, obviously. If we would neglect that, then we just wouldn't be scientific. And obviously I'm not scientific. Like, I'm just some random dude who's playing bad horse. I'm the least scientific person on the planet. But obviously we shouldn't tunnel vision. But I can tell you, for me personally, I have tried this dopamine thing. I have looked into the biology behind it, and the biology behind it lined up with my personal experiences. And I can tell you that it is not going to hurt you trying it. It's not going to hurt you trying to go for it and seeing what it does for you, and if it may help you become a happier person. Aha. I haven't fought blue, so I don't know if they're cheating. Xeno, I couldn't tell you. Oh, nice. You gave me my iron back at least. What gang? Welcome. My girlfriend is not holding me at gunpoint, even though she is next to me and holding a gun in her hand. Misinformation on the internet, by the way. The gun is laying next to her hand. Now I can... Yeah, exactly, Tiddles. I already forgot about this. Tiddles hat Hallo gesagt zu dir. She said hi back. I'm pretty sure you could hear that with my microphone settings. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's very... Now she's holding me at gunpoint. It's very important for you to keep this thing in mind, and I'm very happy that Zaz pointed this out. Whenever someone says all of them, everyone, this goes for groups of people, but this also applies to just facts in general. Whenever someone says this is always true, or this is the only truth, or whatever, then chances are they are wrong. Because if the world and life would be this easy as to break it down to just one thing, when it comes to topics this complex, then a lot of things would be working much differently. Obviously, if you have less complex things, for example, I don't know, if someone says the moon is always made of stone, yeah, okay. But once we're getting more complex, then most of the time it is just untrue. 99% of the time it is untrue to just say this simple thing is what's happening. And it's just this one thing, this very easy solution, because the easy solution is most of the time not the correct solution. Even though it's very nice to think of it as the correct solution. Like, other factors that go into this are also just my mental state in general. My mental state in relation to the mental disabilities I have. I don't know if you can call depression a mental disability. I don't know if it classifies as that. But like, there's so many other factors that go into this. I can tell you, however, my life did significantly change because this appears, for me personally, to be a big factor. Vsauce built a career... reading Vsauce alone already made me happy. Build a career on asking, but what is stone? Once someone makes a statement like that. You mean like, the moon is always made out of stone? Yeah. It's... There are probably concepts easy enough to boil down to cause and effect, but I can't come up with any example right now. I don't know. Oh, I queued into doubles out of habit. We should keep our minds open towards the possibility that this is correct. Actually, looking at 3 cheaters in this queue alone and me being in doubles accidentally solo queuing, I think I'm just gonna go into solos. I sadly can't read a bedtime story, Void King, because after this I have to go to bed myself immediately, you know? Yeah, and I want to use the time I still have to play a little bit of video games. I'm very sorry. Big Vsauce videos are all him asking a question like that with signature music starting. Wait, is it? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead and complain. Go ahead and complain. Very, very interesting if we're already at the topic of more serious discussions. Oh, come on! Ugh. Yellow, is that necessary? I don't know if this is someone who's doing this on purpose. I don't know. But what's very interesting is I was under the assumption that I don't know what the English term for this is, but there's a discussion in Germany going on around people having to join the army, being required by law to join the army, and under the assumption that this means that you can be forced to just have to pick up a weapon and fight against an enemy because you have undergone that training that is under discussion currently. Being under the assumption of that, I obviously was against this. I was like, no one should be forced to have to join the military and do the basic training there if that results in them also being forced to have to at some point fight against an enemy. That is what I said until I talked about this with my mother's boyfriend when we were in that fancy restaurant I mentioned, and I learned that apparently that assumption is wrong, because in fact, even if you do that basic military training, you still cannot be forced to fight against an actual enemy. You still can say, no, I know I have undergone this training, and I know I am in the military officially now, but I can't morally justify actually killing people. So you can still reject the government going with the good old, you have to fight people now. And for some reason, the sources that I have been using over the past years have at least indirectly suggested this assumption of you are forced to also then fight an enemy, which made me reject this idea. But with this new knowledge a more diverse knowledge, and a knowledge coming from someone who actually used to be in the army, I now see this much differently. You know? You have a flight. I thought a fight. I have a fight tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good night to everyone whose bedtime it is. It is also my bedtime very soon. The stream is almost over. There's not much time in the stream left anymore. Oh, how annoying are you? This is sad. Good night from Tiddles. Good night back from my girlfriend. Wow, he walked around it. How did he not break it? Oh, wait, is this blue guy? I think this blue guy is cheating. What was that? What did he do there? Crazy. 13 Minuten. And like, I've also realized this on other levels. For example, I always thought, okay, what if you just, I don't know, do X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna name any examples here, but like many left-wing politics that I was a huge fan of, and I still am a huge fan of them, I was like, okay, surely just because of the right-wing agenda we have in our government, those things aren't being pursued. However, after looking into it a little more, I realized, no, some of them are not being pursued because it's no concept on the planet exists, no theoretical concept exists that makes this work properly. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but for some things this appears to be true. I don't know. I've mentioned earlier when someone asked me for my favorite YouTuber. When someone asked me for my favorite YouTuber, I mentioned Jay Riddle because of the Jay Riddle topic that's been going. Come on, can you just stop this? Whatever. I think at this point it's time to just say, I don't care, I just want to move my hands around a little while talking. It's okay if I just lose this game. At least we have the confirmation now that this person probably is sniping. If you want to do it, then have fun with it. I'm not gonna try to do anything against it. You can snipe me, it's okay. Oh wow. Why am I false rushing? What the hell? I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I false rushed here. Don't ask me. I was very distracted. Okay, can we stop playing this map? Can I please play any map that isn't this map? Okay. this topic, I've mentioned it a couple times on stream now, but this topic has, even though in theory I knew it before already, but it has shown me very clearly what I should have known before, that you can just not rely on anything to be true, or anyone to actually give you true information. Like, you should be much, much more critical with the information you are receiving from anyone, to be fair. And I always thought I was immune to this for some reason, even though I was aware of all the effects surrounding this. I always thought I was immune to this. But then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where your political views are influenced by a political party that you sympathize with, but that at least indirectly influenced you with facts that just aren't true. And then all of a sudden you get to realize that influencers that you knew you should have been critical of, but you just believed them anyway, just lied to you. And all of those different things are all of a sudden starting to fall apart, and you realize that even though you are aware of these effects, you can still fall victim to them. And even though you are aware of this, like, even though you are aware that even if you're aware of these effects, you can still fall victim to them, even though that is also something you're aware of, you still can fall victim to them. Like, it doesn't matter how aware of what you are, it doesn't make you immune to falling victim to it. I was about to say it doesn't make you less likely. I don't know if it probably makes you somewhat less likely to fall victim to them, but it just doesn't make you immune, and it still is likely to happen to you. And that is something very crazy. And I really enjoy this new me, and I consider myself to just feel much more intellectual and educated now. But I also really like this. I also like being critical about everything. And I think someone once said, I like that I'm so naive because I don't want to question everything my friends tell me. And I think it's much better to not be naive and to be very critical, but to just have a healthy sense of understanding that obviously in a social context with friends, under certain circumstances, it's totally okay to just be gullible and to just be naive and to just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, if your girl best friend rages about her ex being so bad, then nothing is against you being supportive and being like, oh yeah, what an asshole. It's totally fine to be naive and believing it, even though you are well aware that she probably is the problem as well. As long as you are aware of that, it's fine. It's totally fine to be able to judge social situations much better with this knowledge in mind. I think it's a good thing. Oh, good. I would like to win the last game, I have to admit. Oh, I can afford this, good. Also interesting how I think I was more aware of the following thing than the average person my age. I was aware of the fact that my parents probably have more knowledge and more understanding of the world. For example, my parents. I had this knowledge, and I was super aware of it, and I believed this wholeheartedly. I believed that the adults were much more knowledgeable than the children around me. But I also fell victim to the assumption that I personally, at least in some ways, probably am smarter than the others. But it turns out, no. It turns out, as much as you like yourself, as much as you like to think of yourself as smarter than your parents, it doesn't have to hold true. And I can differentiate that. For example, my mother's boyfriend, he says a lot of things in the same demeanor. With the same demeanor, he explains to me how the military actually works, or he explains concepts to me that I wasn't aware of, but that actually seem to be true. In the same demeanor, he also tries to explain to me that man-made climate change doesn't work, or like does exist. Like, obviously, in that regard as well, you shouldn't just blindly rely on stuff like this. But it's very interesting how it is very important to keep an open mind towards the possibility of these people being right, even though you don't assume them to be. Like, I was always like, yeah, okay, those people, they also have different political views than me, like my parents, they have different political views than me, and therefore they are influenced by the propaganda and everything that goes into this politics field. They probably don't know the correct information about and everything. But this is wrong. This has to be decided on a case-by-case basis. The way this should go shouldn't be, oh, they are probably victim to ideology, thus they are wrong in everything they say in this field, but the other way around. Every single thing they say should be examined for if it's true or not, and then you can determine, oh, in this sense, for example, they believe something that isn't true because of ideology. However, it could be true as well that they believe something that also has to do with ideology that is true. However, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It all feels super logical and it's not new information to me, but for some reason, until you actually get to a certain point in your brain, at least that's how it worked for me, you don't take it that seriously. And you still fall victim to certain things, you know? Oh, nice, good. I'm not gonna play another game. I could afford to play another game, but I would like to end it on a win. Let's go and trade our tick. I'm gonna play another game because 2 more finals are needed. Okay. Episode, welcome. Yeah, it's late. I'm too lazy to explain again why, but Minecraft didn't log me in to play Minecraft. Honestly, it's better to be critical than naive if we're going off extremes because you're more aware. Exactly what I'm saying here. It's just a much more logical thing to do. It's much better. Okay. Doesn't matter if we win this or not. The only thing that's important to me is that we still get 2 final kills. I just want to get 2 more final kills. There's one person on red who has very good stats, especially for their start. They're probably an alt account. But aside from that, this should be an easy game. Should I... Don't ask me why I'm doing this. It's not like I know myself. Okay, now it doesn't matter anymore. Now the TNT is lost anyway. Okay, yellow does have an upper hand. Would be good if we die, then it would be good if we would do it to this guy. Okay, good. Doesn't look like that. I've been wondering how do you see who's like cheating again. There is a software that is basically a giant database where BedWars players, especially experienced BedWars players, hand in evidence and clues towards people cheating. And I can access this database. What happened to Capstalled? I also haven't really seen Capstalled. It was, at first, he didn't want to play with me anymore, but maybe that's because he just in general didn't play a lot of Minecraft anymore. Then I realized that he was attending streams less and less and not really watching my stuff anymore. And I also realized that the few attendances he did have were pretty negative all of the time. Like, he used to be much more positive. Nice. Well, he almost got me too. But it just transformed, and he got more and more negative. Don't really know why. At first I thought, because I heard some stuff behind the scenes, that it had to do with an old companion of mine spreading misinformation about me and just pulling him on their side. But I don't know if that's the case. If it is the case, then sad people. Very sad people they are. I have to admit, it's sad. It's always sad to have someone move away from you. But, like, that's the way things move, and whatever happens, you know? Yeah, I almost feel like he just doesn't really like me too much anymore, but I don't know, that's just what it felt like to me. I don't know what is the reason, what's possible or what not. I also feel like, which makes sense, but I feel like he also really lost himself in this whole Israel debate, and without being too political here, that just is never all too good. It may, I don't know how much is publicly known about Capstalk, so I won't go into too much detail here, but, you know. To me, as an outsider, it felt like he found himself in a little bit of an echo chamber. Let's lie to the people in-game here. Let's lie to them. However, I don't want to give my opinion on the whole Israel thing that's going on. All I can say is the little things that you can objectively say about this whole thing suggest to me that they might not be nice people in some regards. Okay. Like, for example, I am not over there. I'm not there. I can't prove or disprove or do whatever to find out who is a fugitive over there or who's not. And not even the US of A being on Israel's side is necessarily a giveaway for that, because even though the USA for me is like the personified or statified evil, they could also just support good actors, you know, that's just as likely. But there are certain things I've heard. I don't know if they are propaganda. Maybe they are just blatant propaganda and I've fallen for them. But, like, just for example, what I've heard might be true about Israel trying to have states make it illegal to say certain things about them that are, to me and my objective view, just criticism. That suggests that maybe in some ways this state might not be the good actor here. But as always, there's no one good and no one bad actor. But I can say I haven't seen many sources, I'm not an expert, but from the little sources I've seen, it doesn't look good for them. It doesn't look good for them. Especially since my algorithm really tried to convince me that Israel is a good actor here, and like influencers I used to really enjoy watching are all on the side of Israel. But like, if even though you are deep inside of a bubble like that, you still are able to realize, wait, what you're saying is just blatantly wrong, why are you lying to me? Then I think it starts being kind of obvious that maybe Israel is not a purely good actor. Off of my amateur knowledge, that's all I can say. That maybe Israel is not a purely good actor. Don't want to try to say anything else here. I don't feel like I have the expertise to do so. Okay, we're in a very bad spot now because this guy has got a punch bow, and the only way I saw that I could have killed him with a backboard is now seemingly impossible. Doesn't matter. Unless he timed clutched? No, he didn't. Awesome, punch bowl guy down. If I would have fired that fireball at him, that would have been so useless. Just get that I fireball jump. Dragon Echo, welcome. I sadly have to go to sleep after this game. What do you mean? America, best country worldwide, zero corruption, never influenced by Israel. That too. I have heard people suggesting, strongly suggesting, that there's corruption going on there. What do I know? I don't know. I'm not an expert in politics. I don't follow the news. I haven't looked into it. I haven't done any research. Who am I to say if corruption is going on there? I can tell you. I don't know. Just assuming that would be not very nice of me. Would be very bad of me. Because then I just assume something without actually having the facts, and I don't want to do that. What always for me is at least suspicious is if in order to... I'm good. If in order to justify your worldview you have to lie, then for me that is a giveaway that you might not be the good actor. And that what you are trying to spread, or the ideology you are trying to convey to people, might not be too good after all if you have to lie to spread it, you know? And... for me personally, I've made an experience in this field because I used to be, I've mentioned this so often, but for example, I used to be super against people coming to our country, people fleeing from like places on Earth where there's war going on, where people are trying to kill them on death lists and everything, you know. Those people I didn't want to have come to here. And this was one of my more moderate views. I think you're all aware of what a person I used to be. I was a very, very bad person. And when someone asked me, why shouldn't they come here? I had to justify my cognitive dissonance by saying, well, my great uncle lost his job because one of those people came here. One of the Mexicans. No, it's not Mexicans first, Germans. It's like, I don't know, Muslim people. 6-year Macaque, thank you for the raid, but I'm also ending my stream now. I'm very sorry. I had to lie. And then after that conversation, I was like, wait, why did I have to lie to support my own worldview? And at that point, it all started to fall apart because all of a sudden I was like, wait, maybe, just maybe, there is no justification to hate other people from other groups. Maybe it's just a stupid thing. Because apparently there doesn't seem to be any good argument for it. If I have to even lie to come up with something. Yeah, so if someone's lying, it's a pretty good giveaway. Just the things they say about people in the West wasn't enough for me. I haven't heard any of that. I get like political extremists and criminals migrating as a problem, but in general immigrants are a huge net positive for most countries' economies. I don't know, haven't looked into it enough, but I have heard that, yeah. I have heard that. Could be. Sure. But yeah, that's too big of a topic. We're not going to touch on that. I'm going to hurry to get into bed because my girlfriend is waiting and really wants me to end the stream very quickly, and I also want to do so because I'm looking forward to meeting her. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the stream. I really did. I really did. I can tell you that with my full confidence here. I didn't really pay attention to the gameplay at all. Did we even do gameplay? But the talks we had were amazing. Really enjoyable. And yeah, I will reply to you, Orange. I will do so. Can we claim these 2 quests? I don't want to forget about that. That would be stupid. I don't think this is enough, right? Shouldn't be enough, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it is. Yeah. It is! How cool, how nice, how good. Okay, awesome. We even got all the quests. Okay, anyway, what I was trying to say here is the stream was nice, I really enjoyed it. Gameplay-wise, was it good gameplay? I don't know. Oh, /marker punch bow guy beaten, by the way. Red from playground. I think I played very decently for pretty much not looking at my screen and just talking to people. However, yeah, I think this was a pretty nice stream. If you did so, if you enjoyed this too, go ahead and subscribe to my highlight channel. We're currently going for YouTube rank for everyone new here. The link you can find in my Twitch chat is going to be the link to my highlight channel. We just reached 20k and we're going to reach 30k in like a month. So I will have YouTube rank if you support me. Go ahead and click that link, Modern Life, and subscribe for absolutely free. I also just uploaded a 1-hour video of me just manhandling blatant cheaters. It's a cool video. Yeah, so go ahead, you can support me by doing that. Aside from that, now have yourself a wonderful rest of the day or night, and goodbye. Alright, and now we are going to also, I want to add one thing after saying bad stuff against Israel. I don't like Hassan Piker. I haven't really seen too much of his views, but I don't like that guy. It appeared to me as if he's doing animal cruelty to his dog, and that seemed to be pretty obvious to me. And there are a bunch of other things I don't like about him and what he's saying. Just to make that clear, I feel like politically we should have pretty much the same views, but for some reason I still hate that guy. I think it should be normal to sympathize with your political enemies, but also hate your political company. I think we shouldn't be split into this black and white, but instead there's so much gray, and it's totally okay to criticize people from your own political view spectrum and agree to people from the other spectrum. I think that's super important. Politics isn't what should define us. I totally agree. And that's also why I say it's kind of sad. I don't know if this applies to Capstall. I don't want to say that, but like I've seen people not being friends anymore just because they had different political views. And obviously, if your friend is a Nazi, then it's cool that it's not your friend anymore. But like within a certain spectrum, it's just sad that politics drives friends apart from each other. However, enough of that. We're gonna rate you over. What was clipped? Did I say something bad? Oh my god, oh no. Let's rate someone. Oh, Super isn't streaming. I said Nazi, okay. I say Nazi all the time. I used to be one. What can I say? Dumb people exist. Sometimes I think I'm smart, then I realize I used to be a Nazi, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not that smart after all. I guess I'm pretty stupid after all. Okay. But people can change and deserve a second chance, in my opinion. Let's raid Mrwash. German friend of mine. I really have to hurry up. I can't look him up right now. Very sorry, but I have to hurry up. What's the name? Mrwash? Okay. He's a good guy. Maybe next time. Remember to suggest again next stream. Okay, start right here. To Murosh. 3 views ready in 9 seconds. 4 views ready in 7 seconds. 5 views ready in 5 seconds. 7 views ready in 4 seconds. 8 in 3. And have yourself a great time. See ya.